There has been so much talk about Web3 that I decided to do a video on it. Web3, by definition, is a decentralized internet where security, privacy, and trust are built in as central tenets so that machines and humans can coexist safely on the web. But the notion of decentralization isn't new. At the beginning, the web was built upon open protocols. In order to make information accessible on the web, people and businesses would have to host their information on their own servers, and to send an email or even a chat message required technical know-how. Web participation was affected by these barriers to entry. The tech companies of the 90s sought to reduce these barriers to entry. Services built upon these open protocols enable people to surf the web easily through a web browser, send an email through an email client, and chat with friends all over the world via an IRC client. But soon, the innovation of these companies went beyond what the open protocols maintained by the community could do. We can buy just about anything on the internet, share content with friends from all over the world, and even search for answers to almost anything. These companies, as you may know, are Amazon, Facebook, and Google, and they have come to define what a Web2 company is. They create a lot of value, capture as many users on a single platform, and then monetize their attention. But if their services are free and accessible to everyone, what is the problem then? As these platforms have come to define the way we live our life, if they are compromised in any way, be it via a hack or a power outage, our quality of life is affected, and we may also lose sensitive personal information. The question then becomes, how might we design a more robust internet? Also, these companies have a lot of our data that we have traded in for access to their services. Data that improves our user experience, but in doing so, we are placing trust in these companies. Trust that they will do right with our data now and into the future. The question then becomes, how might we integrate trust into the internet? Web3 proposes a decoupling of our data and the applications that use our data. By storing our data on the blockchain, applications that need to use our data will have to access the blockchain. And in doing so, we will know exactly how our data is being used. This, in the process, builds digital trust. The use of a blockchain inherently makes the internet more robust. In a Web2 world, companies monetize data from our attention. But in a Web3 world, where data and platforms are decoupled, the way companies monetize will be very different. Ultimately, for Web3 companies to pose a threat to Web2 companies, if we borrow from Clayton Christensen's disruptive innovation model, Web3 companies will first need to meet the minimum threshold needs of the customer. Also, this does not mean that Web2 companies will cease to exist. They may readapt to fit the Web3 paradigm, and that remains to be seen. In my next video, I'll explore where Web3 is at the moment.